meeting comes to order. We'd like to welcome you to the September 25th meeting of the Rutherford County School Board. This evening, Board Member Jim Estes will be leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Mr. Estes. We'd like to ask you all to please join the board in a moment of silence for our longtime Smyrna High School teacher, Kenny Anderson. And also let's remember the family of Ricky McCurry, the construction worker who died in a tragic accident at Eagle School on Tuesday. So if you'll join us as we bow our heads. Thank you. We'd like to take a moment to formally recognize and welcome our newest board member, Jeff Jordan, educator, administrator, commissioner, chairman of the Health Ed Committee, and I've known since 1968, I believe.
Careful now.
Because I was a child then, so.
Me too. Thank you, Mr. Black.
You're welcome, but honored and grateful to get to serve with you, Mr. Jordan.
You're very kind. That goes right back at you.
No, thank you. Okay, any questions as far as approving the agenda? Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second. Mr. Hodge and then Mr. Estes, is that who you had, Ms. Michaels?
Yes.
Okay, so, okay, motion, any questions? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Okay, next thing we'll go to is extension of employment contract for the Director of Schools. Mr. Odom's school contract currently expires June 30th of 2015. Mr. Hodge had asked me to place this on the agenda, and we certainly had conversation and quite a few compliments thrown your way, Mr. Odom, during the work session on Tuesday. So, Mr. Hodge, I think you wanted to make a motion.
I'll be glad to, Mr. Blair. Once again, I want to thank you for putting it on the agenda. I know we had a lot of discussion the other night in regards to the job Mr. Odom's done, and I think several of us made some comments and everything. So I'm prepared to make a motion to extend the contract of our Director of Schools through June 30th, 2016.
Have a motion by Mr. Hodge.
Second.
Second by Mr. Holliday. Any more comments? Again, there were quite a few made Tuesday night, all in your favor. So you've done an excellent job, Mr. Odom, and we're grateful for your service also. So, okay, we'll go ahead and vote. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay. Well, we're pleased to get to keep you for another year.
Well, thank you. Just our existence is for educating and developing the boys and girls of Rutherford County. Help me keep that focus. If I'm off of it, remind me, please, because that's why we exist and what we do.
Yes, sir. And again, thank you. Okay. Moving to number 6, approval of the consent agenda.
So moved.
Okay. Mr. Holliday, do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Mr. Young. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Visitors, we have one, Mr. Ontario Galt. I hope I said that correct. If you'll come to the podium, Mr. Galt. Welcome. You will be voicing your concern to the board and to the director of schools. We will show you respect, and we ask that you would show us the same respect in kind. The board does not allow any antagonistic back and forth. So again, we like to stay with the facts. At the end of your 3 minutes, if a board member has a concern, or if the director, or a question, pardon me, or if Mr. Odom, they will at that time. I would like to remind you that you can always arrange a meeting with the director of schools here at the central office, and you can reach any board member through the website, through the website, through our email or our contact phone number. So, Mr. Marshall will keep up. You notice you got some blinking lights up there, so we'll keep you on task. Would you repeat your name in case I did not pronounce it correctly, and your address, and you may begin.
All right. My name is Ontario Galt, and my address is 1602 Twin Ledge Court, Laverne, Tennessee.
Thank you.
Okay. I have an issue with the field trip that the 5th graders are taking at Rock Spring Middle School, elementary school, my fault. Here's the problem I have. They're going to the Carlton Plantation. The word plantation alone causes me anger and disbelief that anyone would want to take them to a plantation. I've also spoken to other people that feels the same way. First of all, they're 5th graders. I think that I don't feel that they can get appropriate truth of what a plantation really is. I mean, had it been just a farm or anything else, I would have had no problems with it. Maybe if they were seniors, juniors in high school, by then they should be able to shape their own minds. I have a lot of anger when I hear the word plantation. It can go along with a lot of other phrases. I don't even think I need to say some of those phrases. Being a black man, we have a lot of racism that still goes on in this world. And until you experience how deep racism is to us, because as I look in this room, I don't think a lot of people have experienced too much racism. And so to kind of, because 3 minutes is not long enough to explain my point, I had a discussion with Mr. Aaron, and we talked for over an hour, or about an hour. But what I'm getting at is, I'm going to say it as simple as this, and maybe you can understand this analogy. If you have a child or had a child, I lost one of my kids. And until you lose a child, you can never understand how a person felt when they lost a child or losing of a child. You can never understand. There's no way you can understand. And that's the same with racism. Unless you have been discriminated against and truly discriminated against. I had to explain to my son why it's okay for him to wear a hoodie when Trayvon Martin was shot. He didn't want to wear hoodies. He thought some white man was going to shoot him. He was at that time, my son was in the 4th grade or 5th grade. Shouldn't have that discussion with him. But I had to. When I moved down here to Tennessee, because I just recently moved here, I had to explain to my son why he was not able to be a friend to this one young man who was a Caucasian, and after his parents found out he was black, they told him he couldn't be friends no more. And my son asked me why. I shouldn't have to go through those examples. I have to have a police officer come to my house to show my children how a police officer should treat us, because all they have ever seen was police officers mistreating us. And I shouldn't have to be able to do those things in order for my kids to feel. I don't want them to have the anger at the police that I have when I see the police, but I have to show them different ways. And if I don't stand for what I stand for, then I can't expect my kids to stand for something. And I just feel like they won't get a fair representation of the word plantation, how bad it is for us. I'll be free to talk to anybody if they need to talk to me.
Thank you, and you certainly have access to Mr. Odom or any of the board members also. Okay. Thank you, sir. Okay. Mr. Odom, number 8.
Number 8, and I'm going to ask Ms. Jenna Stitzel to come up microphone. This is one of our most prolific grant writers. She is our coordinated school health supervisors, and she has really been responsible for attaining grants for the exercise tracks and things at several of our schools. She did receive another one within this last week, and since we have at least 3 new board members on, I thought it would be a good time for you to kind of hear what she does a little bit and what she's been able to do for the boys and girls of Rutherford County. Ms. Stitzel.
Thank you. Okay, let's go right into it. I just wanted you to know there are several components to coordinated school health. We're lucky in Rutherford County that we're so large, so there's other people who can handle separate areas. So me and my assistant mainly focus on physical education and health education. And coordinated school health exists to eliminate barriers to learning. So if our students aren't healthy, they're not able to learn. So we're here to try to eliminate that. And my position is totally grant funded through a grant from the state. So I'm not paid through funds for Rutherford County. So I have to write that grant every year, and that's where my salary and some of the money comes from to pay for physical activity equipment. This is a big part of my job, the health screenings. These are the grades we screen. We take height, weight, blood pressure, hearing, and vision. We do not take blood pressure on kindergartners. We tried that. It scares them. Sometimes it just didn't seem to work out, so we start that with second graders. We only screen students who have parent permission. We don't want to screen students whose parents don't want them to be screened. If blood pressure is high, when we're screening them, we take them to the school nurse. If it's still high, the parents are called. And so that seemed to work out really well for us. And the nurses are a big help to us. Here's where we are right now, a little over 38% overweight or obese students. And I wanted you to see the last few years. Since we're only screening kids every other year, the blue colors, those are the same students. So you notice that it's gone down, and I wanted to add, we actually included middle school and high school students to that 12-13 year. So even adding those older students, the numbers still came down, which is huge because the jump in obesity happens between 2nd and 4th grade. So the higher you go, the higher the number. So it's pretty significant that we're still coming down. So in the 38, we've only screened about 7 schools this year, so we still have several more to go. So hopefully that's going to come down quite a bit more. A lot of the grants I write go to the walking tracks. My goal is to put walking tracks at every elementary school, and I didn't put all of them in here, just a few so you can see what they look like. They're 200 meters, so that's not a standard track at a high school. It's 400 meters, so this is a little bit smaller. It's elementary school, they don't need that huge track. It's easier for the teachers to control them on this smaller track. About 3 kids wide can fit across it. These are all pervious concrete, which means the water sinks right through it, so it should be safer. So if it rains, there's not going to be puddles. The kids aren't tripping over themselves out there. They can use it right away. This is our Cedar Grove track, and I want you guys to see our Blackman Elementary School track. This one I actually worked with the PTO, and I wrote several grants and worked with MTSU, but their PTO was very supportive of this, and they actually raised funds to go towards this track. And we've since put a fence up. I know it's right about Main Road, but there is a fence there to protect the kids when they're out there. So we have 11 tracks completed so far. 2011 is when I came into this position and made this my goal. At the end of this year, we'll have 15, so we're going to put 4 more in this year, and then by next summer, all the elementary schools will have tracks. And so now all the middle schools are asking for them, so that's the next thing we're going to do. So listed here are all the schools that have tracks right now, and then these are the 4. I already have grants for all 4 of these, so they'll be going in this year. This is just to show you how much the tracks cost and what I've brought in. The average cost of the tracks is $20,000. The Richard Siegel grant has been huge for me, and I didn't find it until 2012. And so in the blue, that's how much I've received from the Siegel Foundation in those different years. And the rest of the money is additional grants, and I'll show you a little bit of that later. This is just year by year since I've come in. This is different grants and in-kind that I've raised. When I'm not out screening the kids, I'm always looking for grants because our schools don't have all the extra money to pay for the PE equipment and physical activity equipment that some of our teachers need. So I always let the school send me a wish list at the beginning of the year, and it could be a few basketballs, it could be ellipticals for a fitness center, kind of sky's the limit, and I just write grants throughout the year and get them as much as I can. This is so you can see some of the major contributors are. So Richard Siegel has been huge for us. because we're able to combine academics with physical activity. In those grants, a lot of the teachers will teach kids how to find heart rate out on the track, and so they can include that into academics, which is huge. Some of the other money has gone to fitness centers. This one is Stewart's Creek Middle, and we actually received this equipment from Middle Tennessee Medical Center's Wellness Center when they moved to their new facility. I asked them what they were going to do with their old equipment, and they weren't going to do anything with it, so they gave it to us. So we put that in Stewart's Creek Middle. The goal is to put fitness centers at every middle school. So that's Stewart's Creek, the bottom one is Rock Springs Middle, and there's one at Christiana Middle, and I'm trying to work one a year. The fitness centers are way more expensive than the tracks, so that's going a little slower. And then this is Smyrna Middle. They have a bike program. Their health teacher has a bike club and teaches bike safety, so we were able to get her 20 Trek bikes donated for that. This is Laverne Primary. Coordinated School Health paid $10,000 to get new fresh fruits and vegetables delivered to that school twice a week. So the teachers told them what it was, where it came from, why it's good for you to eat it, and then at the end of the year we had a big festival so they could eat fruits and enjoy that. These are activity monitors. A lot of our PE teachers have these. They track the kids how many calories they've burned, how many steps they've taken, their activity level. So the teacher's able to base their grade on real data. It's not just perceived activity. Like sometimes kids can fool you, but this way they actually know if they're really working during PE class. This is Ollie Otter, and he goes into our schools and teaches seatbelt safety. And we got to meet with the governor because Blackman Elementary, every single student in that school participated and wrote Ollie Otter a letter explaining what they had learned when he came in. So we got to go meet the governor, which was fun. That's the Blackman Elementary School PE teachers who were huge in that, and their assistant principal. These are the human healthy vending machines. They're not in all of our schools yet. They're in several of our middle schools. So I know with the new law that went into effect over summer, these are fully in compliance with those. These machines are very popular. I didn't know if they would be, but I went into Blackman Middle one day, and there was about 10 kids lined up to buy stuff from these machines. So they're going over really well. These are the OrganWise guys. We had these were in 2 schools last year. We added 3 more this year. This is totally grant funded. We don't pay anything for this. It's curriculum that every single teacher gets in the whole school, and they come in and do a program and introduce them to the OrganWise guys for those characters up there. And it basically teaches the kids what their organs are, what they're for, and why it's important to eat healthy and exercise and take care of these organs. So the kids have really liked those. This is an outdoor fitness center at Daniel McKee. They don't have a gym, and these kids really need to exercise every day. So, and the principal was big in helping me get this put in. And since then, she's actually enclosed it, and I think there's mulch around it. It looks a little bit nicer, but they're using that every day. This is the track at McFadden, and the National Predators helped us pay for this, and they love this project so much that Nash came out and did a train with Nash Day, and they danced like a train around the track, so that was a lot of fun for the kids. And so we're actually in a promotional video for the Predators Foundation. So they came out and shot that. This is new. These are stability balls. I asked some of the schools if they were interested in having the students use these. It helps to get the fidgets out, and there's our students have to have 190 minutes of physical activity every week, and now they can't include walking between classes as part of that time. So if they're sitting on these exercise balls, that counts as exercise while they're sitting there because they're actually stabilizing their core, and you can stop and turn the ball over and do exercises just intermittently out during the day. And these have little feet on them, so they're not rolling all over the place during the day, so they're fine. But we had 90 classes that asked for these. I didn't have the money for that at the time, so they're in 30 classrooms right now. So I'm going to try to write some more grants to get these in more classrooms. But so far, the feedback's been really good. And this is just what I wanted to leave you with. This is real data showing that students' brains actually are firing, and they're really active after they've been physically active versus if they're just sitting. So, and that's it. Do you have any questions?
Yeah, that one you have PE.
No, but I did teach her. She's a Tigerette. And a state champion, I might add.
So,
There's another connection.
so in grants and in kind, you've raised almost $500,000
Right.
in 4 years.
Right.
You may be our new MVP.
Oh, thanks.
So, that's outstanding.
Chairman.
Yes, sir.
Ms. Stitzel, the overweight and obese designation that you've given us, you've also given it to us by school. Are there any goals system-wide or per school to try and affect that? And I'm really actually going to ask this question. Do you have a measure of staff?
I don't have a measure of staff, actually. I'd be happy to do that.
Just wondering.
She furnished us with the watches. so
We
can
did.
see-
I've still
Yeah.
got mine
You
at
got
the
one.
activity level. Maybe just board members.
Yeah, me and my staff could definitely do that. It's for the goal, my personal goal since I came in was to reduce the obesity level by 1% each year, which is small, but it's doable.
Okay,
And I've actually have seen that.
all right. Well, my doctor's after me to lose some, so we'll see.
As far as the walking tracks, is there agreement between you and the administrators that how much they'll be used by the students?
Yeah, most of the grants, Richard Siegel's a big one, and then St. Thomas Rutherford has started giving us grants also, and they're not even paying for partial, they're paying for full grants. And they actually have to come out to the school and meet with me and the principal, and we have to have a whole plan stating what it's gonna be used for. So each class has to say, I don't know, they're gonna use it more for, than just recess and walking time, that they're actually gonna incorporate it into academics as well. Yeah.
You know, with the figures that you've shown us, you know, with the overweight and obese, I think this is the first generation that is not expected to outlive their
Right.
parents.
Right, and the jump starts early. Kindergarten and second grade are fine. Once you get to fourth grade, the obesity shoots up and blood pressure shoots up. And it's kind of incredible to see fourth graders with high blood pressure, but they really do. Yeah.
Excellent presentation, thank you.
Did you also work with MTSU in their concrete management thing on the
Yes.
pervious concrete? That's been a nice relationship too.
My undergrad degree was concrete management at MTSU, and so I've just kind of kept in touch with them over there. And so for those first several tracks, we actually had the program director and several of their students come and help us do the tracks, and that reduced the cost significantly.
Well, I'll have to admit, I did not know what, is it pervious?
Pervious, yes.
Pervious, I did not know what that meant until you made your presentation, so thank you. You added a word to my vocabulary.
Good.
So, anything else from the board? Thank you very much. Great job. Mr. Odom, number 9.
Number 9, now, Mr. Spurlock, if you'll kind of work your way to the front. This one is pursuant to policy 3.210, the director of schools may make recommendation to the board for naming a portion of the school campus. The recommended approval, the motion is to approve the naming of Oakland High School's track facility to honor former Oakland High School coach and teacher Melvin Daniels. And Mr. Spurlock asked to address you, to speak to you about this motion, if that's
First of all, I
okay.
appreciate you giving me the opportunity to speak to you. You know, Coach Daniels, Melvin, he was a friend, he was a colleague, but most of all, he was an Oakland High School family member. I got to know him back in early 90s, but he'd been at Oakland several years before that time. In 1984, in the spring of 84, Melvin was the head track and field coach at Oakland High School that won the state championship. And Mr. Jordan may correct me, but I think that's the only state championship in track team
championship,
in
that's
Rutherford
correct.
County. You know, Melvin is was a lifelong resident of Rutherford County. He was a product of the Rutherford County schools. He excelled at Central High School and went on and had an accomplished career in football at Middle Tennessee State University. He's touched a lot of lives at Oakland High School. There's many alumni that have called me, and I think this is the right thing to do. You know, we recognize those that have laid the foundation for the youth that go on to be adults, and I respectfully request that you approve this. I think this is the right thing to do. This is a great opportunity. The 1984 state football championship team will be celebrating at the Riverdale game on October, I think it's the 24th of this year. And it'd be a great time, if we could get this approved, it'd be a great time to recognize this occurring.
Any comments from the board?
Mr. Daniels was also a friend of Laverne as the former principal at Laverne High School, and there are folks there that consider him to be quite an excellent individual. His impact and the track program at Laverne was certainly benefited by his commitment.
Well, and I enjoyed a relationship with him. I was a freshman on the football team when he was a senior.
Always younger than the person, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. At MTSU, and I thank you also for bringing this to the board. So,
Thank you.
okay. You want to read the recommendation, Mr. Odom?
Okay, the recommended approval, the motion is to approve the naming of Oakland High School's track facility to honor former Oakland High School coach and teacher Melvin Daniels.
Mr. Hodge?
Second.
And second by Mr. Young. Thank you. Any other comments or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Thank you, Mr. Spurlock. Appreciate you being here. Okay, I'm moving on to number 10.
Number 10 is approval of the Work-Based Learning Pilot Program course. The Career and Technical Education Department is requesting approval of a work-based learning course, number 6105, to use the curriculum and standards in the pilot program. These changes will take effect during the spring semester of 2015 to be implemented across the state in 2015-2016 school year. The state is asking us to pilot it for them because of where we've gone in megatronics and some things. So the motion is to approve work-based learning course 6105 to use the curriculum and standards in the pilot program. These changes will take effect during the spring semester of 2015 to be implemented across the state in 2015-2016 school year. Ms. Tyra Pilgrim is here if you need additional questions answered for that.
Board members, would you like for her to come? Any questions? Okay. You've heard the recommendation.
So moved.
Mr. Holliday
Second.
and Mr. Estes with a second. Yes, sir, discussion?
Mr. Chairman, I just wanted to point out, as Mr. Odom said on Tuesday evening, it is certainly an honor for Rutherford County Schools to be acknowledged and given the opportunity to pilot this program, but it's also in recognition of the outstanding career and technical education program that is in place currently in Rutherford County. We recognize it as one of the principal characteristics that helps us to retain students to graduation as we track the graduation record of students that are involved in career and technical programs at a higher rate than the average student. If we can get students plugged into something that strikes their passion, it really does make a difference. In addition to striking that passion for hands-on learning, we're also, through this program and ones like it, we're keeping them current to modern technologies with the Megatronics program and partnerships with businesses in the community. This really has a hands-on effect to be able to give a student the opportunity to step out as an 18-year-old and potentially have an applicable career that can give them a real change of life.
I will say that this board has made career and technical an equal priority as our other academic programs over the years. So I'm pleased for that. So we've had a motion and a second, haven't we, Mr. Joyce? Okay. Having heard the recommendation, and we've had a motion and a second. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? I'd like to remind the viewing public and the audience that we had a work session on Tuesday, and several of these numbers had quite a bit of comment or discussion. Number 11, please, Mr. Odom.
Number 11 is approval of academic intervention focus area. The Curriculum and Instruction Department is seeking the approval of an academic intervention focus area for high schools. This focus area could be used by students needing intensive reading or math interventions beyond their 9th grade year. The state has approved the Tier 3 intervention codes of 3017 for English language arts and 3180 for mathematics. Students receive a 1/2 credit per course, and these courses may be repeated as needed. The Tier 3 courses are elective courses beyond the required English language arts and mathematics classes needed for graduation. These courses will be taught by a certified teacher and offered as described in Component 4.2 of the state's RTI Squared framework. Recommend approval. Motion to approve the academic intervention focus area for high schools.
Okay, got a motion by Mr. Young,
Second.
second by Mr. Holliday. Any discussion? Again, we had quite a bit of discussion on Tuesday. Okay, hearing none. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Number 12.
Number 12 is a contract with Planet Technologies to migrate email to Office 365. Rutherford County employee email will migrate from our current email exchange server to Microsoft Office 365 platform. In addition to email operation, utilizing Microsoft 365 will allow teachers and faculties additional opportunities for online collaboration on documents, free cloud-based storage, and the ability to share documents to enhance planning and data analysis. Monitored student email accounts will be on the same system and allow students the opportunity to collaborate on assignments online and utilize the free cloud-based storage. This is a free service as part of the Office 365 education plan. Current Rutherford County schools' email addresses will not change. Trey Duke, Steve Solomon, Jeff Sandvig, Richard Zago, and Gary Clardy met and reached a consensus that the best approach to have a successful migration is to have it managed by Planet Technologies and have at least one of our personnel trained in this system as the migration is being implemented. The Technology Department is requesting the approval of funds in the amount of $39,840 to contract with Planet Technologies for professional services in assisting with the migration of our approximate 5,000 user mailboxes. Recommend approval. The motion is to approve a contract with Planet Technologies at a cost of $39,840 for management of migration of Rutherford County Schools' current email system to Office 365 education plan. This is a professional service.
You've heard the recommendation.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Hodge, second by Ms. Moore. Any further discussion?
On Tuesday, some of the things that we covered here were that we did look at other competitive proposals, so good stewardship of the taxpayer dollars. Just want to bring that to light here in the board meeting, as well as how we fund technology moving forward. We recently saw Murfreesboro City School System receive $7 million from the city for technology update, and in the conversation that we had on Tuesday, we talked about the possibility of the need and the possibility of how we could fund an ongoing technology update. Technology is critical to our students, and keeping it up to date is something that we need to be very mindful of.
In trying to recall the discussion, the 80,000, was that just to increase memory, or was that for another server?
We've had to do a couple of things. One, there's some like 40,000 was just the air conditioning because we keep adding memory blades to the existing servers. And then we had to purchase some additional servers, newer model servers. So being able to migrate with this should lessen our need to continually upgrade as much hardware and provide those particular items. But I think for me, and I'll repeat again, one of our jobs or tasks is to prepare the students for the office environment in the future in which they will find themselves. And so we know that this ability to collaborate online, to exchange ideas, to do that. I went to a session when we went to the TSBA and looked at that, what they were doing in Prince George, County, and they were using Google Docs, some things like that, using the cloud to do that, and they were also involving their students in this collaboration and training about how to develop this interactive model. And this does much of the same thing for us, and so I think it's wise instructionally Plus, in the long run, will save us monies, I
Right.
believe.
That collaborative effort is also going to be present in those online courses, and we see that, within the first 2 years of higher education beyond high school for a lot of students, and we've gotten feedback from them that their first exposure to that online classroom setting is sometimes a surprising exposure, and so our ability to give them some introduction to that is critical.
I'm curious, am I the only board member that does not know how to utilize the cloud?
That one goes automatically to it somehow.
Oh, it does?
So
Well,
you've been utilizing it.
I read it, so thumb through it, so, okay. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Good, thank you. Okay, 13.
13 is on facilities and Whitworth Buchanan Middle School baseball fence. Principal Avi Seymour has requested permission to construct a metal fence around the baseball field and construct a walk from the bleachers to the concession stand at Whitworth Buchanan Middle School. A site plan is enclosed for the board's information. There is also a 40 feet by 100 feet building shown on the plan that is not part of this request. The fence will be 6 feet high and 29 gauge green metal to match the school colors, and a 40-foot long by 16-foot high batter's eye will be constructed at the boundary of center field. The fence, batter's eye, and concrete walk will be constructed at no cost to the Rutherford County Board with funds raised by the baseball team. Recommend approval of the motion to approve Whitworth Buchanan Middle School baseball fence and concrete as presented at no cost to the board.
Heard the motion?
So moved.
Ms. Moore
Second.
and Mr. Young. Are they going to call it the Green Monster, you think?
Well, what are we going to call it? Coach back there.
Okay, good. All right. All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, ma'am.
could I take a moment to make a comment?
Sure.
Being a parent of Whitworth Buchanan Middle School and having a personal vested interest in that baseball field, I'd just like to tell the board, share with the board that our baseball coach is with us here tonight in the audience. He didn't know I was going to do this, so he probably won't be happy with me, but Coach Anthony Gomez took over responsibility for coaching the baseball teams last year, and our son has played there since the 6th grade, so we've had an opportunity to watch the program grow, and the things that he's accomplished in the own personal time that he's invested in making things happen over there with that baseball program, including the improvements to the field and going out and fundraising himself to get things done like scoreboards, has just been nothing short of amazing. So I just kind of wanted to give him a little bit of a shout out.
Pretty cool to get a compliment from a board member
It is.
to the director of schools, so that's good.
If I could may add,
Would we step up to the mic, because it's on TV and the public can hear you if you'll step there. That would just kind of help if it's okay with the board.
Yes, sir.
I just would also like to add that due to the backing of Ms. Seymour and Whitworth Buchanan's executive leadership and Rutherford County School Board, that we were also able to solidify a Richard Siegel grant for the baseball team this year to go towards the indoor batting facility that we're trying to construct at the moment. So I was able to write up that grant, give it to Ms. Seymour, and we were able to solidify that. So I'd like to say thank you to everybody involved in that as well. So
Thank you.
that's all I had.
They're working on, I think you approved maybe last spring or something, one of the buildings there, which will be used also by girls softball and baseball too, that particular facility.
We may remember this as grant night, because
It's been a good one, hasn't
It has been a good one. So, okay. Thank you, Ms. Moore. 13B.
And still didn't pull up when I pulled it up today. My cloud's not working apparently, because I
It's
loaded it
infectious.
again.
Yeah.
Proposal for energy management service. Mr. Ron Graham has submitted a professional services proposal to help our engineering department to submit an application for a grant for approximately $500,000 from the Energy Efficiency School Initiative, and the board hadn't provided training on monitoring and other energy conservation items within the Rutherford County School System for Jeff Stacy, our energy manager. The cost of the proposal for Mr. Graham's service is $9,785. These services will help on the school board's policy on energy conservation and also help to monitor and verify cost savings. Recommend approval. Motion is to approve the energy services contract with Ron Graham in the amount of $9,785 for grant application to the Energy Efficiency School Initiative Board, measurement and verification and training for Jeff Stacy. And again, this is also a professional service.
You've heard the recommendation.
So moved.
Motion by Mr. Holliday, and second by Mr. Hodge. Further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, do you want to read number 14?
I'll be glad to if you'd like me, or whichever one you want to do.
You're on a roll, Mr.
Okay. The Policy Advisory Committee, and this is information only. Per policy 1.602, the following members have been appointed to serve on the Policy Advisory Committee. All school board members are on the Policy Committee. Bill Tollett, Principal. Kenneth Curley, Educational Support Personnel. Kim Franklin, Classroom Teacher. Chris Schaefer, Classroom Teacher. Dr. Phyllis Washington, Supervisor. Claudia Belden, Citizen at Large. Laura Disney, Citizen at Large. Don Odom, Director of Schools, Angel McLeod, Director's Designee, and Jeff Reed, the Board Attorney. And the next meeting is
October 16th.
October 16th?
Correct.
Okay.
Okay, number 15, board appointments. Asked Mr. Holliday to continue as the Federal Relations Network representative. This is a program through the Tennessee School Board Association, and Mr. Holliday has represented us well. And again, as I said on Tuesday, I've gotten some strong feedback on your participation and your commitment to visiting with Congress and keeping up with the federal statutes that keep coming fast and furious. So thank you for serving. Asked Chairman Hodge to lead the Tennessee Legislative Network, again, with his length of time on the board, and certainly has been involved with our local legislative issues, and I can't think of anybody more qualified to do that, so thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.
Good. And probably our third senior board member, Mr. Corey Young, I've asked to represent us on the Rutherford County Audit Committee. So again, thank you for serving. So I think you'll enjoy it. Number 16 is an insurance update. I attended today with Mr. Sandvig and Ms. Barnes. Who's going to speak? Okay. Thank you, Ms. Barnes.
Being here with us today. On your table, you should have a copy of what I tried to type out quickly before we came in here this afternoon. We did have an insurance meeting today, and I wanted to give you an update about open enrollment. So the first thing you have are the dates for active employees for 2014 open enrollment. This year will be October 20th at 8 a.m. in the morning until November 3rd at noon. So it's typically a 2 to 3 week period that open enrollment is available for people to go in and make their choices about their enrollment and benefits. The packets will be mailed to all eligible employees on October 2nd, 2014. And when I say eligible, full-time over 30 hours that are eligible for benefits. The enrollment packet will contain the actual enrollment guide, and that's the booklet that describes all of the different benefits. They will include a sheet that says what's new, and I apologize, I see a typo, for 2015. So we'll talk about any changes that are taking place this year, so it's a red flag awareness to everyone to really read that form. There'll be information about the wellness initiative, our Zinsi survey, and you've seen emails that I've been sending out to our employees, letting them know about that and the deadline for November 30th to avoid that extra charge. There will also be a flyer announcing the open enrollment general meeting dates, and our high school principals have been kind enough to allow us to schedule the meetings at the high school facilities. So I think there are 10 to 12 meetings. They're general meetings anyone can attend, and they're spread across the county. And then there's also information about the flu shots. It's a flu shot flyer, and it will highlight the wellness fair that's scheduled for October 17th from 3 to 7, and I assume it's at the Lane Agri Center. Jeff, did you catch that today? Okay, which is where they typically hold it. So all of that information will be in the envelope, and I will prepare an email to send out towards the end of next week to remind all of our employees to look for that when it comes in the mail. Don't put it to the side, put it in a safe place, get it out and start reading that information. And we send out repeated emails throughout that open enrollment process to prompt everyone to make sure they get all that done before the deadline ends, because we want everyone to have access to their benefits. We also added a note at the bottom, because there have been some changes to pre-65 and post-65 retirees open enrollment. Their dates are going to be from November 5th to December the 1st this year. And the committee and the county commission approved what they're considering a $500 stipend to allow these retirees to take instead of the benefits, so they can go out and search for their own benefit plan through the network. I said that correctly? And then if they want to do that, they can, and if they want to come back to us at some time later, they can do that as well. So they'll get all that information in a separate packet. Any questions? So again, you'll see emails from me several times over the next few weeks during this open enrollment period to remind everyone about what they need to do. So if you ever have questions, please let me know. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Barnes. And I plan on attending all future insurance committee meetings. Feel free to join me if you wish, and but I know everybody has their own their other responsibilities too. With the general discussion, I would like to lead out with Mr. Jordan has provided a list of the budget members and the health ed members on the two committees with our funding body, the county commission. Thank you, Mr. Jordan. I think this is very helpful, having their email addresses and their contact numbers. And as we have with our local legislators, we definitely need to reach out and touch our committee members on a regular basis, our county commissioners. So again, thank you for putting this together, Mr. Jordan.
Yes, sir.
I sent you an email about budget for July, August. If anyone has a question on that, Mr. Sandig was actually at the Health and Ed on Tuesday evening. But if any of you have a question, he'd be glad to try to answer that for you.
I don't guess there's any questions.
He did a good job
Yes, he did.
writing it up.
Yes, he did. Okay, board members, we are in general discussion.
What's our latest enrollment figure?
Mary Dean gave me one the other day, was 41,980. I can't tell you exactly if that is true. That's up another notch. But that was the figure that I had the other day.
That included the preschool.
That included the preschool, which is about 200 and something, probably.
About 250.
About 250 preschool, so you could
We
subtract.
were up 697 over May. We were up that on the 11th, and I'm 697, and I'm just wondering what it was today.
We'll give you the first month's report too.
Okay.
Which I can even email to you in the meantime.
Uh,
To do that, to let you look at the numbers. I know Ms. Howell was working on it today because we're sending in counts and breakdowns for TSSAA because of their division changes, and that's something we have to do for them too. So she was using first month's numbers today to do that.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
Ms. Michaels helped me in the blue folder. There's a copy of an email request that I've made to Board Attorney Angel McLeod for a addition to the Policy Committee agenda. And so I've offered that to each of the board members just as a matter of information.
Thank you. Anything else for this evening? Thank you all, and have a good evening, safe weekend, and we stand adjourned.